Hello, this is Sunshine Stamper, and today we are going to be doing a product review of the new inks that Altenew just came out with in November of 2025. We're going to review the colors, we're going to swatch them, we're going to talk about the method behind my madness here, and then we're probably going to do a little bit of a color comparison, the new colors versus some colors that are already out there. So we're going to start out by swatching. So let's talk about swatching for a bit. On the Altenew website, they have a really good freebie section. And in their freebie section, you could download these swatch sheets that you print out, and then you could go ahead and stamp your inks so you have a very true to life representation of what your inks look like stamped. So for these inks here, these are brand new, so they are not in the printable sheet yet, but I wanted to go ahead and get them stamped, so I just make my own little swatch sheets. And the ones that I make, I just take a card front and cut it into a 2-inch strip, and then I write the name of the collection and I write the name of each ink pad on there, and it's pretty much just like that, just not as pretty. And then when I'm done with this, I'll punch a hole in it and I'll add it to my little flip ring here of all my colors. So I do that for when I am going to be stamping or ink blending, so I know what my color is going to look like, and I know which colors are going to look nice together, and I could quickly, compare and say, oh, no, don't want to use that blue with that green, etc., etc. You get the picture. So love my swatches. I use them all the time. It is a bit time consuming when you try to, do some catch up and try to swatch everything you already own. It's much better if you swatch the stuff as you bring it into your craft room. And the other nice benefit of doing it right when you bring in your craft room, like I bought these inks and I know that I'm going to use them at least once. So I'm not going to have brand new inks sitting in plastic in my craft room that have never been used. I could say I've used them once. Maybe I only used them to swatch, but you know what? That counts as using them, right? So anyways, that's my mental gymnastics there. So I've been using these. I started out with this quite a while ago. Eventually, I'm going to switch from the printables from Altenew to the Swatch Dex cards. I like the Swatch Dex cards. They're really thick, really good quality. I just haven't switched yet because, as you can see, I've got a lot of swatches done, so it's going to be a lot of work to switch from this to this, and right now this is getting the job done. They surely wear a little, like you can see the bent corners and stuff because it's, this is paper that I would stamp for a card on. These are much heavier, they're much better paper, I guess. They're much better for swatching and something you're going to keep around for a while. But until I have to, I'm going to keep using this because it is, like I said, a lot of work to do a bunch of swatches at once. A smarter person would probably swatch both of these at once, but I don't want to do that today. That's a lot of work. I know, right? So anyways, that's the reasoning behind the swatching. Here's the method to my madness. So I cut these strips, wrote the name of the collection, wrote the name of the ink. When I'm doing my swatching, I try to always use the same stamp. So after everything's swatched and I'm comparing colors, I'm comparing apples to apples here. So I know this is what it looks like on a solid stamp. I'm not trying to compare, like something that I ink blended to a solid stamp. I'm not trying to compare like a thin line scripty thing to a solid stamp. I'm compared solid to solid. So it really helps me match my colors easily and quickly and without having to think so much. And the stamp that I use, it is just a solid flower. I've had this stamp set for a long time. It's one of Altenew's older stamp sets. And quite honestly, the only reason I use this, it's nothing special. I just use it because I was looking for a solid flower that was small enough to fit in the swatch boxes. So I used the flower arrangement set. Offhand, not sure if they still sell it or not. If you really want it, I'll look. If they still sell it, I'll put a link in the video description, but I don't know. And then for doing this, I'm not using my stamp positioner, not using my stamp wheel. I'm just using an acrylic block to make it quicker so I could go boom, boom, boom. And I'm not like moving paper around inside my stamp positioner. This will get the job done for this. Every swatch might not be completely perfect, but each swatch will be good enough to compare, and that's what I'm going for. So the other things I use when I'm swatching, I have just this cheap, it's really like a fine tip Sharpie from Amazon. And what I do when I get my new ink pads, I buy them in the groups of 4, so I number them. 1 is the lightest, 4 will be the darkest, and I put the family name right on the back of my ink pad. Altenew puts the name of the color on there, but they don't put the family name, probably because they sell the ink pads separately or in a group. I always buy them in a group, and I like to keep them together as the family, so that helps too. These are new colors, so they don't have the labels out for them. Eventually, they will come out with these labels, and usually I try to swatch and label at the same time, but I wanted to get these swatched because I'm kind of excited about some of these colors. I didn't want to wait for the labels to come out, but eventually I will put labels on them, and they sell the labels at, I think they're less than $5 for your group of labels, and it just really helps. The way I have my stuff stored, it makes it easy. I have the color name, and those labels are pretty close to the color of the ink pad, so it's very helpful when you're trying to grab something. But I do always defer to my swatch sheet. All right, so we got all the boring bits and pieces out of the way. Let's start swatching. So again, I was kind of excited to see these colors come out this month because I like neutrals, and I like how these are kind of like your soft subdued colors. They'll be great for doing background stamping, and I have a feeling they're going to look gorgeous ink blended. We're not going to do the ink blending today, we're just going to do the swatching, but very excited. Okay, so when I'm doing my swatches, I take my stamp on my stamp block, and I'm going to push it down here a few times because I want nice even color on my stamp. It's not the end of the world if the color's not even, but it helps to get that nice comparison if you get lots of ink on there. And then I'm going to go straight down, and then I'm going to push for a couple seconds. I'm going to give it, just a little bit of time here to really soak into the paper. Hopefully I get like a nice even coat of ink here, so let's see. And that was a little blotchy, but you will see as these dry up, the Altenew inks, I'm not an ink scientist, I'm not a chemist. I don't know what is in them, but the Altenew inks, they dry so even and so smooth. I mean, they're just gorgeous. So this is a little blotchy right now. I'll try to hold it up to camera. I'm not sure if it's going to focus or not. So it's blotchy right now, but as it dries, you'll see that it really kind of levels out and evens up. So that was Shattered Shell. That is the lightest color in this Earth Tones family. And the Altenew ink pads come in for family. And I like to tell people the Altenew ink pads are cat proof. I love this. This was one of the deciding factors when I was trying to figure out which ink family or ink brand was going to be my go-to every day that I really wanted to fill out my collection with. I went with the Altenew ones because they have this twist top. I have cats, and I could be clumsy at times. There's been many times where cats have knocked things off my desk, or I've knocked things off my desk, they fall on the ground, and that they're ink pads, they fall open. These, because it twists on, the kitty cat can knock it down all he wants, but he is not getting ink all over the carpet or his paws. So I really like that. That's one of my favorite features. I do love Altenew products. I don't work for Altenew or anything, but I love their products because some of them really seem like they're thoughtful when they engineer them. And the ink pads, the screw on top, love it. Okay, so here we go. We're inking up warm linen now. Nice and straight, trying to get that as even as I can. I'm pushing down, trying to get nice inky impression there. Ooh, I like that warm linen. So back when Close to My Heart was a thing, they had a linen color that I really loved. Their linen was more of a gray linen. I was hoping when I saw warm linen it would be more like that, but I think the brown, that's going to work. Next up in this family is Ginger Root. And I was pretty pleased to see more browns from Altenew. I know they have, I would say they have like 2.5 brown collections. They have one that's kind of like a greeny, foresty brown. That's the one where mangrove root, that's one of my favorite. It's like a green, but it's a brown. That's one of my favorite browns to use. So they have that one, and then they have like two that are, they have like a coffee one, where it's like coffee names like espresso, mocha, and they have another set that is like milk chocolate, almond butter, hazelnut, and vanilla cream. But I do think that they do need to flesh out their browns a little more, so I think this helps to give you more variety, especially when you're doing ink blending and such. Oh, that is nice. I like that. That looks very close to mangrove root to me. I keep wanting to call it mandrake root, but the name of the other color is mangrove root. That looks close to it to me, so it's going to be interesting when we compare those side by side. I think it's definitely lighter, and I'm betting it will look really good with that, the family that mangrove root is in, blended and used in projects together. Make sure we got this clean. Okay, so number 4 in this family is Umber Shadow. This should be our darkest brown. Again, getting a nice coating of ink on here. Trying to get that as smooth as possible, nice and juicy. Going straight down, holding it there for a couple seconds. Are we ready for the big reveal? All right, here we go. And that is a nice brown. It really reminds me of mangrove root. We'll have to pull that swatch out here shortly and compare, because I'm just going by memory. I'm sure they're different, but these two remind me of mangrove root. So I bet those are going to look pretty together. All right, so we've got our first family all swatched. I love also how these stack together. They stack, I don't know, it's like playing with blocks when you're little. I just find it entertaining. I don't know. There's something about that I like. I like stacking them. Okay, so now we are on to Sage Garden. Our first color. Oh, it's probably helpful to put that up so you can see what color I'm looking with. Maybe if you could see it on the camera. I don't know. Still new to this video thing, so bear with me. All right, Silver Sprout. Now this one, the name of the family was Sage Garden, and I know they have other sage colors. Like I know they have Misty Sage, they have a Silver Sage, so it'll be interesting to see where this family fits in with the sage colors they already have. There we go. Oh, that is soft and pretty. I like that already. Right now it's a little blotchy, but as it dries, that's going to be pretty. I also use, they have a color called Pistachio. When I need something kind of in this tones, I use Pistachio a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how that one compares to Pistachio. Okay, number 2 in this family, Sage Stone. Let's see how this one comes out. Again, straight down, pushing down. We're doing this the old-fashioned ways, like in the days of yore, when we communicated by passenger pigeon, when we didn't have our stamp positioners. Old school stamping, right? And I do have to say, I find stamping a lot more fun now that we have all the tools and gizmos. I love my stamp positioner, my stamp wheel. That thing is my best friend. But I've always been a gadget person, so I like trying new things. And all right, Sage Stone. That was number 2. Number 3 in this family, in the Sage Garden family, is going to be Olive Grove. I see a piece of cat fur. Cat walked by my desk earlier. He did not get a cat cameo today, but he did walk by and left some kitty glitter for us. Okay, here we go. That's nice and inked up, straight down. Gonna push it there for a couple seconds. Just trying to get a nice even impression so we get a good amount of ink down there. I like that green. I like that. Like I said, I'm not like a colorist. I'm not a professional artist. I do this for fun. This is, you know, what I enjoy. I enjoy colors. I like coloring books and stuff. I'm no professional. I don't know the right terminology. I don't know the technical terms for colors. But these tones, these are the tones that I really like. I want to say they're kind of earthy. They're kind of, I don't know, are these cool tones? Maybe. I don't know if they're cool or warm, but there's just something about this I like. I hope I'm not describing it wrong when I describe them as neutrals. To me, they feel like a color that goes with almost every other color. Every other color. Here we go. Pushing down. This is going to be Mossy Granite. This is going to be number 4 in this family. I didn't have as much ink on this side. There we go. Okay, now here we go. I know watching the swatching is not the most exciting thing, but when you do it, it really pays off to have your colors swatched. That way, when you are creating, you don't grab a color thinking it's one thing, and then you get it down the paper and you realize, oh, that doesn't look good with my other colors. Now you can compare right away, and it really helps you make decisions. For me, it's how I make the majority of my decisions. I'm going to screw this back on. So that was number 4. That was Mossy Granite, Olive Grove, Sage Stone, Silver Sprout. I don't even know what my mouth is saying now. But those are those colors. Put that aside to dry. And we saved the best for last. At least for me. I love purple. I'm a purple person. Purple. Ugh. All right. Just shut up and do the swatching, lady. Okay. So the first color, number 1, Celestial Mist. Now, I have high hopes for these because, again, I love purples. But I'm a little concerned about Glacier Iris because the iris colors, usually there's something about the tone in them that don't really call to me. I'm more of like, they have a pale mauve family and like plum. I like those more, I don't know, subdued purples. So we'll see if I like that one. I think I like more bluish purples than I do pink purples. Again, I am no colorist, so I've been trying to watch videos and learn more, but that's pretty. I like this. It reminds me, so I like to watercolor, and my favorite watercolor color is called Moonglow by Daniel Smith. That reminds me a little bit of Moonglow. Looks like one of the tones that's in Moonglow. Okay, here we go. Got it nice and juiced up, straight down. We're going to push it there for a second, or then we're going to lift it up to see if we like it. That tone, I don't like that tone as much. We'll see once it dries. I might like it more once it dries, but there's something about this color, something about the tone of it, the temperature of it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not professional. I wish I had the vocabulary to describe what I don't like about it. All I know is this does not make me feel happy like that one does. All right, Dreamy Periwinkle. I really see some cat fur over here. That cat, he just walked by and left his little kitty glitters. All right, so again, pushing down into the ink. Try to get nice and juicy so we get a nice good representation of this color. Straight down, pushing down, putting a little bit of pressure on it, just to make sure it's getting there. Hold it for a couple seconds. Are you ready for the reveal? And I love that color. That is my type of purple right there. My type of purple. I love that. I'm going to be using this one a lot. So far, I like Celestial Mist. I like Dreamy Periwinkle. I could live without Glacier Iris, but the other two, they are pretty. Back on. Okay, and now for our final new swatch. Right way so you can see it. Twilight Sky. Let's see if we like this one. And by we, I mean me. Alright, getting it nice and juicy there. This pad does feel pretty juicy on its own, honestly. Straight down, a little bit of pressure. Waiting. Alright, let's see. I love that color. So it's kind of funny. I was at a retreat just this weekend, and I was telling somebody that Altenew doesn't really have like a good grape. I love grape from Concord and Ninth, but Altenew just really didn't have anything that was similar. They have a grape agate color, but no, this is really pretty. I like that Twilight Sky. I think that these, so 3 of the 4 of the purples, absolutely love. Definitely see myself using a lot. And who knows, maybe Glacier Iris will grow on. But, you look at these 4 together, and I swear that has like a different tone or something. Maybe somebody who knows more about color can use like small words and describe to me the difference I see with my eyes. But it feels like these 3 are more cohesive than that one. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. All right, so now the fun part. We've got our new colors swatched. And overall, I'm loving these earthy, soft, like, I keep saying neutral because in my mind, they seem neutral. let's not take these off. Let's go here. Let's start with those browns because this, I so much feel, I feel mangrove root vibes there. Let's see if we can find it in here. Here we go. Okay, look. So I think I was pretty right. These two are close. They're different enough that I'm not sorry I bought them. And quite honestly, I really like how those look together. I actually like how these 6 look together more than I like Misty Moore and Marshland. So yeah, like even these two I think look really good. I love these browns. I think these are about to become my favorite browns to use together. So those are going to look really nice. Like when you're ink blending, if you take just a little bit of your brown with a small blending brush and you like dab it into your leaves, it really like makes it really pop and come out. And I think these are gonna, that ginger root's pretty. Even this warm linen, that, yeah, I like them. Very happy I bought these. Can't wait to start using them. But that does show you, I mean, if you don't want to buy 2 different sets, if you had to choose between Nature's Wonders and Earth Tones, I would go with Earth Tones over Nature's Wonders, because you could always do a lighter hand with this Umber Shadow and get close to mangrove root, but it's hard. You're not going to get close to these other 2 colors with Marshland or Misty Moore. They're just completely different. These have too much green in them, I think. So I would definitely go with Earth Tones over Nature's Wonders if you're trying to pick which brown set you're going to buy from Altenew. Pick Earth Tones. That one's, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Let's try to bring it up to the camera. I don't know. I hope this isn't too obnoxious, but you can see that really well. They're very similar. I think on the camera they look even more similar than they do in person. So if you're going to choose from the 2, I would go with Earth Tones. These are like a greenish. The Earth Tones look better, in my opinion. Somebody else might totally love those. I'm sorry if you do, but you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. For me, yeah, Earth Tones. Okay, so now I'm trying to find, let's see. Okay, here are some of the sage colors. So we have silver sage here, and it might be kind of close. These 2, actually, those 2 would look really good together. Let's try to bring this up to the camera again. So silver sprout and silver sage look really nice together. I would even say you could probably do 3 of these together for a very soft look, and those would look gorgeous together. I don't think it really overlaps much with this frosted foliage family. I think these colors are very different, but I think we have other greens that match those 2 a little better. So let's look in here. This is the pistachio that I mentioned, that when I'm looking for like that sagey color, a lot of times I will use pistachio. So you can see these 2 are kind of closer. And then you have mossy meadow and green opal for your darker greens, but I do like these. I think these, maybe they have more gray in them. So if I was going to choose between these 2, I would choose this one if I had another green. So if you don't have a green this color, go with these, because they're similar enough where you're going to get probably the same effect. But if you have other greens, I would go with Sage Garden, because they're just the tone and the color, it's just softer, and I like it more. Making up words now, right? And then here we can see mossy granite and oak moss. Pretty similar, right? This has more of a gray in it than I think oak moss does. So this is like a green gray, and this is more, I don't know, green, dark green. Not colors. I'm trying. I just don't have the vocabulary. I'm not expert to talk like I know things. All I know is what I see with my eyes. But if you're looking for these soft colors and you had to choose between these 2, again, I would choose Sage Garden. And here, I'll hold these 2 up. Hopefully you can see the camera. This is Jade Dreams with pistachio, misty sage, and mossy meadow versus Sage Garden. So between the 2 of them, I would choose Sage Garden, I think. So I like that green a little better. Although in defense of Jade Dreams, I do use this set a lot for leaves. There's one set that I do go to a lot, but now I think this one we're going to use for a bit. And again, you can mix these colors in too. Like, these colors go together so well. I like how cohesive it is. They're different enough that it's not like you're buying the same color twice, but they're close enough where they don't clash. It's not like, you know, you have like different, like, I don't know, vibrancy. Again, I don't know the technical terms, but like sometimes when you put a Concord and Ninth color next to an Altenew color, they look so different. Like the Altenew colors are more earthy, more, you know, subdued, versus Concord and Ninth that's like your bright bubblegum, happy. So they go together, but they're not exactly the same. But the good news is if you don't want to buy all the inks, you could buy some and still get the same effect. This is the other one. Here we go. Here is Sugared Kelp in that Mossy Granite. Again, Sugared Kelp is kind of close to Mossy Granite, but the rest of the colors in that family vastly different. And this is not one, I don't reach for this one often. I don't like these really, I guess these are yellowish greens. I don't care for the yellowish green too much. I like these gray greens better, so I would pick this one over that one. Because I don't think I've ever even used my Honeydew Glow. I mean, that's just not a color that appeals to me. I mean, I'm sure you could use it and look pretty, but it's just not one I reach for. All right, so that's those two. Let's find my purples. Purples are in here somewhere. Again, purple was another area where I think that Altenew definitely needed to add some colors. So my favorite purples are these Sugar Plums. I use the Sugar Plums a lot. And these are different, much different. See how these are different? Here. Much different than Sugar Plums. They complement each other nicely, if I can get the word out, but completely different purples. And then the next Altenew purple family here we have is Enchanted Garden. And again, vastly different purples. Now, hydrangea and glacier iris, those look very similar though, don't they? But the others are pretty far apart, I think. I think it's hard. I'm looking at the camera on my screen, and it's really hard to see the difference between these two on the screen, but there is a very big difference between the two of these. This is more of a grape, and this is more of a blue. So they're definitely different. These are the most similar, but this looks much more saturated, like it has more vibrancy than the Glacier Iris. And then the other set we have here, Shades of Purple. And this one I don't use too much. I don't like this Midnight Violet too much. It's a little too in your face for me. But I think when you look at this, the Lavender Fields and the Celestial Mist and the Soft Lilac, I think those together, along with the Dreamy Periwinkle, I think those go together well. The colors are, again, very different, but I think they work together well. Like, this would be so pretty to do a bouquet of flowers on a stamp where you're ink blending, and you just have these different purples all in the same bouquet. I mean, those would look so pretty together. I really like how these colors are going together. And then finally, sometimes I try to pass Blue Mountains off when I need a different temperature, but again, you can see Crystal Violet, Alpine Aster, completely different than these purples. They look nice together, but they are completely different. And the Blue Mountains, blues in the name, they are more blue. So that's what we got going on there. That is my comparison. Try to put these together for you so you can see them at a glance. Very different colors. Actually, I think when you look at it from a distance, you could see the difference between these two a little easier. Very different, but look very pretty together. Ultraviolet's not one of my favorites. I would definitely sub out Ultraviolet for Dreamy Periwinkle when I use these colors. But I'm very happy with all of them. I think they really did a great job of adding to their color line. They didn't duplicate anything, but they gave you stuff that's going to work together. And they gave you different tones of things that are just going to look fabulous next to each other. When you add some of these color families together and you stamp or you ink blend with, you know, multiple inks from different families, they're going to look so pretty together. But then you also have the flexibility if you're not, you know, an ink connoisseur like myself, or you don't want to have the full set syndrome like I do, you could very easily just pick one, still get very similar effects. But then if you really want to go all out in your inks, I mean, they complement each other so well, so pretty together. I think they really did a good job of adding to their color line with stuff, filling in some gaps that they had, especially with the purples, especially with the browns. They definitely had gaps with browns and purples, so I think they did a good job of picking colors that they didn't necessarily have. Let me look at, these are kind of close, but they're different tones. Like this is more of a pinky, I don't know, pink. Maybe there's more red in these. These kind of warmer, and these are maybe cooler. Again, I don't want to like lead you astray and say the wrong words, but you could definitely tell they're different tones. But they would work together very well still. But they're different enough where, you know, you don't feel like, why did I buy this? You know? Yeah, I really like that one. And like I said, mangrove root is one of my favorites. I don't know, I might have to give that mangrove root reinker a rest now and move on to, you know, my pretty new color here. Trying to see if I can find it real quick. Of course, I can't find it when I'm looking for it, right? And now we're just, you know, babbling on. Okay, here we go. Look at these together. Those browns, so pretty together. And they're different enough that they're definitely worth buying. And again, I like the earth tones over Nature's Wonders. I really like this brown. And this was my favorite brown previously. And these are nice, soft tones. Like I did, over the weekend I did some stencils where it was a Santa face. That would make a nice Santa face. Nice neutral color. All right, so I think I've talked enough. As you can tell, I love my inks. I love the colors. I like playing with them. I like comparing them. I'm no professional colorist, but you know, I enjoy it. So hopefully you found this video interesting. Hopefully it helps you make a decision when you're debating these new colors or you're comparing different Altenew colors to try to figure out which ink families you want to buy. I think their new families, beautiful, beautiful. I think they're definitely worth it. I don't want to say go out and buy them just because they're new and shiny, but if I was just starting my collection and if I didn't have the other ones, I would buy these new colors over some of the older families first, just because I think they're more cohesive. And I just, you know, the tone and stuff calls to me more than some of the older ones. But again, you know, that's, you know, personal preference, subjective. You might like the older ones better, and that's perfectly fine. That's you, that's your craft room, your cards. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to my channel. I'm new to the videos, but you know, I'm enjoying it. Love craft supplies. As you can tell, I could talk about ink and stuff for hours, so outlet for somebody who is going to listen to me. Don't have to talk to my husband about it. I'll put it in a video instead. And, you know, send it out to the internet, and maybe I'll find somebody else who loves ink as much as I do and wants to discuss the nuance of the different Altenew colors and how they work together. Anyways, thank you for watching.